What is up, guys? Rick Kakis here, and this is the guide for the Golgoroth challenge in the updated 390 Light King's Fall raid in the Age of Triumph for Destiny. Now, right now, King's Fall is the weekly featured raid, meaning that all three of its challenge modes are active. Once this raid leaves the weekly playlist, it will still be playable at the 390 light hard mode difficulty, but it will just have rotating challenge modes. Beating a challenge mode will net you special rewards, and we're going to go over what those rewards are and then how to actually beat this challenge mode. So, what do you get for doing this? Well, firstly, doing this and any of the other challenge modes for actually any of the other raids on the 390 light versions will net you an exotic elemental raid primary weapon as a guaranteed drop. In addition to that, you will get an exclusive emblem related to the challenge mode, and you will also get some Age of Triumph ornaments that can be applied to any of the sets of new raid armor, not just the King's Fall raid. So, how do you beat the Golgoroth challenge mode? Well, in the simplest of terms, when you're doing a damage phase for Golgoroth, every single member of your fire team must grab Golgoroth's gaze before that damage phase ends. So, if you know what to do, take that and run with it, but now let's explain it with a lot more detail. Starting off this encounter, you will simply have a hanging orb on the ceiling. Shooting this orb will trigger Golgoroth to spawn and properly begin this encounter. Golgoroth will stay in the very center of the arena, and he will be shooting at you pretty much the entire time, and while he's doing so, a bunch of adds will spawn. Split your team up, 3 people to the right and 3 people to the left, and simply kill all of these adds. These adds are not constant spawning, so once you kill all of them, no more will spawn until you damage Golgoroth. So, once you've killed all of the adds on the right and left side, it's time to damage Golgoroth. And how you're going to do that is, firstly, you're going to notice that a bunch more of those orbs have spawned on the ceiling above. You're going to shoot one of them down, and it doesn't necessarily matter which one. We like to pick the front left one, but one of the front ones is probably preferable. Once you do shoot one of these orbs of gloop down, it's going to create a puddle, a pool of reclaimed light. You have to stand inside this pool of reclaimed light, and you will see the bonus for doing so on the bottom left corner of your screen to get any sort of substantial damage bonus on Golgoroth. If you're in the pool of reclaimed light, you're doing like 200,000 damage with a black spindle. If you're not in it, you're doing like 11,000 damage or something like that. It is a massive, massive bonus, so make sure you're inside this pool. Now, as soon as you shoot down that orb of gloop, one person on your team is going to grab Golgoroth's gaze. Without doing so, Golgoroth will simply melt the crap out of everyone that is now directly in front of him in that pool. So how you grab Golgoroth's gaze is by shooting him in the back. However, his back is kind of raised slightly above his head. He's a little bit of a hunchback, which means that if you station someone, as you can see in the background gameplay, up on this box essentially, they're able to shoot over top of his head and still trigger his gaze, snipe his back while he's technically facing them. And this can be very helpful for actually grabbing his gaze and coordinating with your team. Now, once you have Golgoroth's gaze, he's essentially just going to stare at you and shoot what are really just constant Axion darts at you. So you're going to need to kill these before they kill you. Simply shoot them with your primary before they reach you, and they will explode, causing no damage. So, your teammates are going to shoot down the orb of gloop. As soon as they do that, one person is going to grab his gaze and defend themselves by shooting the Axion darts. The rest of your team makes their way to the pool of reclaimed light and starts DPSing Golgoroth. Now normally this is all you would do. You would do this as soon as the time runs out, because he does have a certain time for his gaze to be directed at one person before you fail to grab the gaze, and then he will start shooting at you again, and then you hop out, damage adds again, and do that whole thing again. But since it is challenge mode, all of your teammates will need to grab that gaze before it is broken. So once the time starts ticking down, once it gets to around 10 seconds, and the person who has his gaze should be calling this out, you're going to need to then switch over to the diving boards, the areas that simply dip into this middle arena, as you can see us go in the background gameplay. At this point, one at a time, shoot Golgoroth's back and then run around to the front, so he's looking at the front, and the next person shoot Golgoroth's back. They run around to the front, and then the next person shoots Golgoroth in the back. Now, to make things easy, I would highly recommend that your team simply sound off. Everyone have a designated number. So your team is going to be number 1 to 6, with number 1 obviously grabbing his gaze first, number 2 peeling off at around 15 seconds of gaze remaining to get in position, and then everyone else meeting that person in position once you are done that main damage phase with Golgoroth. Now, one more mechanic you need to be aware of is that when you are damaging Golgoroth, one person randomly will get the unstable light debuff and will have a countdown on the left side of their screen. Once this countdown reaches 0, that person will explode outward, doing massive damage to nearby allies. So you definitely want to make sure that you're paying attention to who has unstable light, and that that person jumps away from their team and just explodes out by themselves as to not damage their teammates. If you're not paying attention, you will literally explode and take out 2, 3, 4 of your teammates with you. It's not a pretty sight. And that's really all there is to it. Kill all of the adds, shoot down the pool of reclaimed light, and the first person grabs the gaze. DPS the crap out of Golgoroth when you can, but at around 10-15 seconds, the second person will peel off to the diving board and grab Golgoroth's gaze, nearing the end of his damage phase. That's going to cause him to shift the gaze to that second person. That second person runs around to the front, while everyone else simply lines up to take their turns grabbing Golgoroth's gaze. Once all 6 people have grabbed the gaze, you are really done with that first section. You're simply going to wait till the adds respawn and do that same thing again, with the only difference being after you've damaged him a certain amount, instead of the normal adds that spawn, taken thralls are just going to spawn in massive numbers. In addition, they're going to constantly spawn, so you're going to be able to damage Golgoroth a lot more often, but you're also going to have probably one person dedicated to just dealing with these taken thralls, because there's going to be a lot of them. So like a Sunsinger with solar grenades is going to be able to be fantastic at dealing with those taken thralls. Now, as for damaging Golgoroth, the number one thing you can use is the Black Spindle. It is fantastic for this encounter. In fact, for whatever reason, the Black Spindle per shot does pretty much as much damage as the Sleeper Simulant. So don't use the Sleeper Simulant. The Galahorn isn't that great either. It's really all about sniper rifles. Get a good sniper rifle. Again, the Black Spindle is top tier, but the Ex Machina is going to be excellent. The Devil's Dawn even is going to be fine. And any sort of sniper rifle with triple tap. In fact, the Event Horizon that was being sold last week by the Crucible vendor, it had casket mag and triple tap. That's going to be fantastic. So just a powerful sniper with as much rounds in the magazine as you can get is going to be the best for damaging Golgoroth. And don't forget that you also still get pretty substantial bonuses for damage increasing supers. So popping a bubble with Weapons of Light just behind where the Pool of Reclaimed Light is going to be fantastic. People can drop in, get the Weapons of Light bonus, and then go into the Pool of Reclaimed Light to damage Golgoroth. Tether is also great as well. So having those supers present is going to allow you to do a lot more damage to Golgoroth. Now remember, the second time you are DPSing Golgoroth, like if it takes you 2 damage phases, you're going to have to go through the whole 6 people rigmarole again. So preferably you're going to do enough damage the first time that you can kill him on that second damage phase. If it doesn't look like you're going to kill him, you're going to have to rotate all 6 people. If he breaks gaze without all 6 people having grabbed the gaze, that's how you fail the challenge mode. And so guys, that is it for how to complete the Golgoroth challenge mode. I hope you enjoyed and found this helpful. Now if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you actually want to be notified of new uploads, be sure to press the bell beside subscribe. Now, if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.